Welcome to season 3 of the Living and Learning podcast. We are so excited to hear more about how our mission statement is actually lived out across each of our programs. We're going to hear stories about excellent academics, living in community, and what it looks like to engage in the world with a biblical worldview. We are so excited to spend some time with you together. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living and Learning podcast. My name is Sara, and I am so excited just to continue hearing stories from students, faculty, and staff across all of our programs at Living and Learning, and specifically in this season, just how exciting it is to kind of hear how the different aspects of our mission statement are embodied in our various programs. So today I have a super special guest with us. Ethan is from one of our semesters in Quito. He was a previous student with Living and Learning. And so I am so excited to hear Ethan tell some stories today. So Ethan, thank you so much for being here. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to us, that would be awesome.
Yeah, my name's Ethan Fuentes. I studied in Quito, Ecuador, spring 2025, which was super great. And I'm from Biola University. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself, and then we'll jump into it.
Yes. Yes, I am so excited to jump in. You literally just got back. You
Yeah,
were just there in the spring.
I know it's crazy to see, like, transition-wise, it took me a while.
Totally. Totally.
I'm like back in the rhythm, and now I'm starting Biola up in like the end of this month. So I'm like
Yeah.
all over the place with like,
Yeah.
putting stuff down. So I'm like in a rush. with
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for jumping on with us even in the midst of your summer and hopefully resting and planning for the fall semester. So, yeah, we are so excited to have you. We are going to take a super quick break before we hear Ethan tell some stories. So, stick around and we will be right back after this short message.
Bye.
Hi, this is Meg, a Living and Learning Director of Student Life, and I wanted to let you know that we are hiring resident coordinators for our semester and summer programs. If you're passionate about cultivating Christian community and feel called to disciple college students, this may be the perfect role for you. Our resident coordinators live on our campuses in Ecuador, Italy, England, and the US, and they run student life activities, help create a safe and living, inviting space for students, and support students during their semester or summers with us. If you're preparing to graduate in the spring and you're looking for a ministry role, or if you're ready for a change and are interested in life-giving work, visit L&LI.org/careers to learn more and apply today for an upcoming summer or semester program.
Awesome, Ethan. Well, yeah, we are just so excited to be with you today. One of the pieces today that we're going to talk about is just what it looks like to live in community while you were in your semester in Quito. And so I know one of the kind of really important pieces of community and culture in Ecuador is surrounding food. So would love to hear some stories about that during our conversation today. To start us off, was there like one particular maybe favorite memory that you had that was surrounded by a meal or food of some kind?
There was so many. I think. So I'll give a little backstory.
Yeah.
And then we can totally jump into it. So, I mean, I was at Biola before I even decided to study abroad. I became friends with this one guy, and he was Ecuadorian. And so right off the bat, he was super patriotic about like just Ecuador in general. And like fun fact, he was literally like his family's from Quito. So it was like, okay, so like right on the spot.
Wow.
And so, like before I even thought about studying abroad. And so he'd always talk about it and I'd be like, oh, that's cool. But like I knew like, okay, well, when am I ever gonna go to Ecuador? And
Right.
and I remember I was studying, I was leaving one of my Spanish classes and one of the students was studying abroad. And so this is already the end of my end of my first year, the end of my first year,
Okay.
or no, the beginning of my second year. Sorry. Totally.
Okay.
So it was like the fall time. And I was like, okay, one of the students was going to study abroad. I was like, I don't think I could ever study abroad. I don't think that's for me. Like, I don't know. And I remember I was passing by the like we had a study abroad fair, and Ashley, she was there
Yes,
like recruiting people. And so you know how Ashley, like, once she gets,
totally.
and I was telling her how I'm like a double major and like all these things, and she's like, I think Ecuador would work perfectly for your schedule. All the credits would just like fit in, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So jumped in, and so I feel like my experience was so unique in the sense of like my friend was able to connect me with family members over
That's
there.
beautiful.
So like right off the bat, like jumped into this place I didn't know, and then like I was able to share time with like a family that I was already friends with, pretty much like the grandson, and so he had like
Mm,
grandparents and aunts over there, and so like I would just gather around, and so right off the bat, it's like being away from home, you feel like a little like homesick, and then
totally.
surrounded by family helped that completely. And so I remember I went to their church like a couple of times, and so the times that I did go, we'd eat at one of their houses like right after church, and so I was able to share a meal with them, and it was so great
Mm,
because I think like this was like the first time I actually went to church with them and hung out, and like they just made me feel so seen and so secured, and I think that was like right off the bat I was like, okay, I feel like this is such a healing process. I feel like God is
mm,
moving. It is such a
wow.
steps like I just thought it was like crazy, and just feeling like
Yeah.
I didn't feel like uncomfortable, but I was like, whoa, like I'm in Ecuador, I'm studying abroad, I'm taking those steps, and food was what brought that closer. It was that kind of community while eating and sharing that, and yeah, it was such a beautiful experience, and just yeah, jaw
I
dropping.
love that. I love that. That
Yeah.
is so beautiful. And yeah, I think that's such a sweet even testament to you and your just you I mean, you had no idea that this friend was going to be so significant in your journey throughout Biola leading you to Ecuador. And so even just for you to feel so connected to different folks on Biola's campus, and
Mm.
for that to literally turn into like this beautiful connection during your study abroad semester. The Lord is so sovereign in
Yeah, he's
that.
so good. He good.
So good. That's so sweet. What was the meal? Do you remember that they prepared
I
when
believe
you
it was. I think it was like seco de carne.
okay.
I think it was like something like that. I believe. I'm trying to like go back because it was a so been a couple,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
because it was like January when like I went.
Okay.
So yeah, I want to say seco de carne.
Okay.
That's what it was. I think it's,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so sweet too that it's the beauty even of culture in Ecuador is just that it's everyone. Like it's grandma, grandpa, aunts,
Yeah.
uncles. Like it everyone is invited to the table.
Yeah, no, like it was the whole family just there, kids and everything. It's like we
Yeah.
sitting down and eating, and it's like no one started eating until everybody was completely at the table.
Mm,
Like
that's beautiful.
kind of those little steps where it's like you realize being in family. I think that's a huge part of what Ecuador shows you when you're sharing a meal. It's like family is such a big role. It's like everybody has
Mm,
to be there, everybody sharing that meal together. And it's not just like sitting in silence, but it's like sharing about your day. It's joking, it's talking about everything that's kind of gone on. And I think you get to realize like Ecuador is such like a family centered culture, and I love that so much when I went over there because like you don't, it's not just something you hear, but it's something you see a lot.
yeah.
People prioritize their family heavily, and so I
Mm,
thought it was just so beautiful seeing that as a whole.
yeah. Yeah. That's so beautiful. And just I think what's so sweet about participating in a semester abroad is students just get to see different ways of doing life. And it's not a matter of anything being right or wrong, but just different. And so the sweetness of, yeah, being in Ecuador, the family is the priority. And
Hmm.
so that is, you know, you're seeing that play out in how meals are oriented, how the day is oriented, how kids orient lives around parents and vice versa. And so, yeah, thanks for sharing that even example of how culturally in Ecuador families are the community. And so that's kind of what everything else revolves around, which is so beautiful. So thanks for sharing about that. And I know even in part of the semester in Ecuador is kind of around this rhythm of chapel experiences as well. And so that is the again kind of bringing the family right of your cohort together, and I know that food is a really important piece of that kind of rhythm as well. So would love to hear even just what that experience was like for you being in Ecuador around kind of the rhythm of chapel, and even integrating like preparing food, where the food came from in the community. So would love to hear just a little bit about that too.
Yeah, so food wise, how it was brought to us. So there's a little business like right in front of our school that we kind of go to, and it's like right next to the Alianza Academy, and it's like
Uh-huh.
a beautiful little restaurant. We've had food there before once, like just kind of enter, but normally they do kind of like catering style, so they prepare the food and then they bring it to the school. And
Mm,
inside the school, there's like an auditorium that we use, and so they set it up kind of like cafeteria style, so everybody kind of like one by one goes and gets it, and the people are super sweet. They're like always pouring, and if you want more they're just willing to just like kind of give you another scoop, and
yeah.
it's super sweet, such a genuine thing. As for the chapels, sharing that meal, it's so like great, because I think sometimes, I mean, you're in a whole different country. You're like moving all over the place. And sometimes it's like you do have your rest days, but I think for the majority, it's like you have class or you go out or like you're just doing things or you're coming back from like an internship. And so people are all over the place. And just to get to chapel and just like being able to stop for a minute and just be like, okay, I'm here to eat. I'm here just to worship. I'm here to be in
Mm,
family. And just, I think it was super great because there was times when I would just be all over the place. And then I'd just get to a chapel and I'd be like, I'm good. Like now my day is coming to an end, and just like being able to grab that food, talk with people you haven't seen all day, or like sometimes you didn't even see any of them throughout the whole week, and it's because some of them were like doing their internship credits.
yeah.
We were like totally deep in there, and so it was super great way just to like catch up with people. I think I got closer to a lot more people when I like at those meals, because it's like
Yeah.
many times it's like you don't know many people, and then like sometimes you know who you normally would sit next to, the seats filled, so it's like
Yeah.
it forces you to get out of your comfort zone. And so I've like began sitting to like random places or sitting next to someone like the staff members and like talking
Yeah.
and getting super involved, because I think that's just the beauty of it. It's like it just pushes you to just get to know people more and more. And so I got to know a lot of people, and then the chapel experience on its own is just incredible. I mean, the students were so genuine in their worship, so genuine with like how they were just praising God, and I think it like encourages you to also be genuine. And I think there's times where it's like so beautiful that it's student led. I mean, worship wise, the students
Yeah.
that they're leading that, and then it's just crazy. You're like in a room full of other students that are just so have a heart posture to worship and just be genuine. And I think it was such an amazing experience that added into my like study abroad, like just reality of it all. And just I thought it was just so beautiful. And then yeah, sharing that meal, it was just such
Mm,
centered.
yeah. Yeah. That is so beautiful. And yeah, just the sweetness of, I mean, something as maybe it seems kind of small, but just the fact that literally eating a meal together before entering into a posture of worship in chapel creates these opportunities of like, okay, this person, I haven't had a chance to sit with them and have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
And so, because we're literally going to be spending this time eating together, this is an opportunity that I get to step in and have a conversation with someone that I haven't had yet. And whether it's with one of your peers as students or one of the staff members, just the reality that food literally brings people together and it literally like brings conversations about. And that is, I think that's so intentional that the chapel experience is surrounded by a meal, because it creates this atmosphere of like, okay, we're coming together literally around a table to talk about the day, to kind of prepare our hearts to enter into worship. And there's like nothing like food that does that, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, yeah. So it's super, yeah, I think it's a really beautiful kind of intentional rhythm of the program. And then it's honestly so sweet because I had the privilege of studying abroad in Quito way back in
Hey.
2016 when I was in college,
Wow.
but it was totally different. We were not connected to this restaurant yet. And
Okay.
so I think it's so sweet to even see kind of the evolution of
Mm,
what the program looks like and the fact that it's so important to the organization that we're bringing in local community into how the semester functions as well. And so, even the fact that you all get to interact with these folks through this restaurant once a week, every week for the entire duration of your semester
yeah.
is so powerful. And that is like a new kind of facet of the program. And
Mhm.
so, it's even so sweet to see as someone who has had a previous experience studying abroad in Quito to see how it's evolving. I think that is also so exciting to see.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think like food wise, it just brought us so like together, and then bringing like local people in. I thought that was just such a great decision because it's like you're supporting local businesses, like you're not
Yeah,
just there studying abroad, but it's like you're in the culture. You're not just getting traditional food from people that might not even be like from Ecuador, but it's
yeah,
now you are like getting it from the
mm,
source. I think was super great. And then I mean all the trips we did like throughout Ecuador. I mean,
yeah,
I saved a bunch of money studying abroad in Ecuador than what I normally would be paying, and I thought it was just so great being able to just kind of experience everything, get so much food for cheap. I mean, like Ecuador prices, food
yeah.
wise to like US, totally big thing.
So different. Yeah,
Like a $20 like food plate today, and like I had to share that.
yeah,
It was like too expensive.
totally.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so I was like, no, in Ecuador, I'd be paying like maybe 10, maybe not even.
yeah.
That's like max $10, and so I was just like, oh, I miss the prices over there.
Yes, I
Super good.
get it.
Yeah, and no, the chapels were incredible. I mean, there was many times when I actually got like closer to people through them. I think it's like
Yeah.
some like you see them around, but it's like you never really talk to them. And I think it's like totally open doors. There was like a couple of other Biola people that were also studying abroad, and I was like, I've met them before, like through just like, hey, how are
Mm,
you? Like I've had a class with them, or just like I ran by them, and so like I knew of them until like I actually studied abroad. I got to like really know them and got super close with them. And it's so weird because like randomly we just end up grouping together, and it's not even on purpose. It's just like, oh wait, it's only us for the Viola people. And so it was just super great, and yeah, just God was
I
working.
love that. I love that. That's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited to even hear a little bit more about, you mentioned this, but even traveling throughout Ecuador and just the opportunities that you had to experience more of culture of Ecuador through the food that you had.
Yeah.
So we are going to take one more quick break and then would love to hear a little bit more about that too. So give us a little bit and then we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Rachel Ruskowski, Director of Experiential Tours with Living and Learning International, and I would love to invite you today to start planning your study abroad program for next year. We would love to connect you directly with one of our regional program managers that will work with you to create a custom experience for you and your students. So what are you waiting for? Send us an email and let's get started.
Okay, Ethan,
Right.
thank you again just for, yeah, telling stories and how fun it is to hear about what community looks like through food in that culture and in that place. So, you kind of alluded to this a little bit already, but I would even love to hear just some of the things that you maybe learned about culture of Ecuador through maybe like some fun food that you tried or some fun places that you visited in Ecuador where you were able to maybe experience part of culture through the different food or things that you had.
I think one of the like biggest ones was Fanesca. It's during
Mm,
like Good Friday, and just such a popular dish. And so cultural wise, I thought it was just crazy because I think you get to realize like how big Ecuador is on Catholicism and how that
Mm,
is like such a heavy part of their culture. And so like I being in Ecuador, they would just like kind of give you like, okay, what is fanesca? What's the historical context of it? And so it's like they have 12 different types of grain, and they like all represent the 12 disciples. And then they have like fried fish, which represents Jesus. And I think like just by the top of that, like you can kind of like see that it's such a big cultural food,
yeah.
and like you get to understand just the history of why like Ecuador has its like certain religions, because it's like wow, like we think of like Christmas and like Thanksgiving. Well, Thanksgiving we have like a turkey and just kind of like, although those are like big holidays, you get to kind of see that with Ecuador, and just kind of like that Good Friday. There's Fanesca, and they only had
Mm,
that like that time. So it's like you get to see how significant it is for that culture. And so I thought like my mind was blown. It's also like really good. So
yeah.
I was eating it up, but
Yeah.
and so that was super good. And then just like culture wise, I think it's super cool going like through the different regions. I remember when we went more towards like the Amazon region, they had like a lot more pan de yuca, and not, although it's
Mm,
typical, like you can get it at like a super maxi with the little foods before, like below, but it's just more fresh. It's more authentic when it's in like the Amazon region.
totally.
And so like I remember we were staying in the Amazon region, and there was like a bunch of monkeys around and like just kind of exploring, and there was like this little bakery, and so we entered. They had pan de yuca, and it was like 10 cents. It was like super
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah.
I was like, give me three. And like that was my first
Yeah.
time trying pan de yuca, and so I was like eating it up. It was so good. And then like you go to like back to Quito, and then like you try the yogurt and pan de yuca,
Yeah.
like the little restaurants, and it's like it just doesn't hit exactly the same because
Totally.
so authentic. It's like I think culture wise, it's like you get to see how each region is just so authentically itself while also sharing so many similarities. And it's like
Mm,
that's just what Ecuador is. Like it's so similar yet so different in every single part. And like to tie that all down together, it's like family is always at the center of each one. And so I just think it's so incredible with everything. Yeah.
yeah. That's so good. And even highlighting, even Ecuador as a country is so diverse in its populations and its regions. And you're so right. Each region has its own cultural significance around food.
Mhm.
And so to even, as a student, you were able to experience even some of that diversity within the country of Ecuador through the different trips that you went on. And so um, even just for maybe students who are listening to this too, to just get so excited about the diversity that you'll experience in country, and that it's so exciting to try new things. It's so exciting to try new things, to try new foods, to do it with people who care about you and that you care about. And even as you're even talking to highlighting the beauty of Ecuadorians participate in this as well. Ecuadorians are engaging in rhythms around food with each other. And so, just to even kind of step into that cultural norm and cultural practice is so like honoring to be able to come into a culture and experience that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, thanks for even highlighting the differences throughout the country of Ecuador. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's just it's so crazy. It's like you get to see how diverse the culture is as a whole, and just being surrounded by so many people, and it's like you're kind of like outsiders coming in, and people don't treat you like an outsider. They just treat you like your family. And so it's so crazy cuz they were just able to bring just depth into the culture and depth into what it is to be in Ecuador. I mean, even in homestays, I mean the food, like just being surrounded by them. Like we weren't such an active family, like going out like every single night, but it was like we were home, we were together, we were like eating a meal. I remember once we woke up super early, and like we did like a quick little Bible study while we were eating, and just like
Oh
kind
my gosh.
of, yeah. And so it was just like putting God at the center of it all as well, and just like being and living and learning and experiencing all of it. It's like food was such a big part of it, family and like friends was such a big part of it. And like the culture as a whole was just like a huge, just wrapped you around. And like just God moved in every single aspect. God works in such miraculous ways. And so I saw his hand first degree, just like
Yeah.
aspect, just like churches I went to, people I was surrounded with, my internship,
Yeah.
heavily on my internship, and just like every single aspect. It was like study abroad opened my eyes a lot more. And I feel like I became more confident in the way like I kind of deal with situations now, because like before I was super timid and just kind of shy, and like now I still feel a little timid and shy,
Yeah. Yeah.
it like doesn't have so much control over me. And just like studying abroad was just, I recommend it.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Thanks for sharing that. And even it's funny to hear you say that because even in the short amount of time that I have known you and been able to interact with you, I never would have guessed that you were someone who felt timid or shy because you have just, yeah, you have been so willing to engage and so willing to even tell stories about your experience. So it is so beautiful to see what, engaging cross culturally can do and the beauty that even something that might seem as small as food is actually so valuable and it is so important, and so much learning and so much connection is surrounded by, sharing a meal together.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for sharing stories about what that has looked like, and even just encouraging students or parents or people who might be listening to this podcast that this opportunity is worth it, and there is so much learning that comes from it about yourself as an individual, but then also about culture and about who the Lord is. And there are just so many results that come out of what it looks like to study abroad. So
100.
I appreciate you so much, Ethan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having
Yes.
me.
Yeah, it was so sweet to hear a little bit from you firsthand as someone who's experienced very recently, like
Yeah.
literally just last semester, you were in Ecuador.
Mm.
So thank you for, again, even as you're prepping for the fall semester and getting ready to gear back up at Biola, again, thank you for taking some time with us. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime. It was an honor and a privilege to be just presented with this, and I'd love sharing my story any single time. And just, yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ethan. We will see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for spending some time with us on this week's episode of the Living and Learning podcast. If you want to learn more about us, you can follow us on Instagram or find our website in the show notes of this episode. We cannot wait to get to know you more throughout this process.